Hello, this is John from the Han Informer,
And this is Glenn from Fall Ritual.
and this is episode 5 of Fall Informer. And today we're talking about halfway to Halloween events, Kim's Krypt Haunted Mill and Field of Screams. So I'm going to start out talking about Kim's Krypt. I went there on Friday, on April 30, and I had a great time. There was lots of interesting things there. They had 2 indoor attractions open, the House of Eyes and the Haunted Mill. And they also had coffin rides and hearse rides, and I did the coffin ride, and that was something else. I actually got in a real coffin. They closed the door on me, and the scare actor named Maggot picked me up and pushed the coffin into the hearse. They closed the door, and then Kim's the one that's actually driving the hearse, and she drove me around in it. And when I was in there, it was completely dark. It was insane. It was very claustrophobic. And during it, there was different soundtracks of different like evil ghouls talking to me. So it sounded like there was like spirits talking to me the whole time. And with the speaker on the left to my side of my left ear. So that was cool.
So they actually drive you around. Like you
Yes.
get thrown into the back of a hearse in a coffin, and
Yes.
they drive. How long is this drive? Like how long are you
I
in there?
don't know how long it is, but because how claustrophobic and just you never experienced this any time before, it's just crazy. It feels like forever.
Now, how is that different? Like I've done like a simulated coffin ride type thing, and you
Yeah.
get backed around pretty good in the simulator. What is an actual like? How are you getting like tossed around? Are you like?
It was
Is it actually
surprisingly.
padded inside? Is I never been
Yes,
inside.
it was padded. Yes, it was padded
Padded?
inside. Yeah, it's not rough. It's padded inside, and she sprayed it down before I got in it because of the situation.
Right.
So, but when I was in there, when she would go over bumps in the road, I could feel it, and when she would make turns, I could feel it moving. It was like this weird feeling, like you could just feel the forces of it. It was wild. It was something
That
else.
that
It was
sounds
only
interesting.
$10 to do it. It's worth it. If you're at Kim's in the haunt season, during the fall haunt season, definitely do the hearse ride. Kim will be more than happy to do it for you.
And it's just crazy. It's got to be the only place that does actual, real
Yeah,
coffin rides. I mean, I've
yeah,
never heard of that. I mean,
yeah.
that's
The second I heard that, I was like, if this is real, I gotta do it when I'm there. And it was. It's crazy.
Kim's is a place I definitely want to check out. I want to get to it though when like everything is open now, because I know there's 6 attractions out there, and I think last season there was only 3 out of the 6, and
Yeah.
then this weekend there was only 2 out of the 6. So yeah, I definitely want
He
to
told me that they're going to have 4 open.
this year.
Yeah, 4
Yeah.
this year. Most likely they're going to have 4. And they closed one of the attractions permanently, Kim's Crazy Maze. And she told me they did that because they're going to expand the midway and add more food and add a stage for a band. So,
Oh, okay, that sounds
uh,
cool.
so they're going to have 5 attractions in total, but most likely they'll have 4 open this year.
Okay.
That's what she told me.
So what did they have open? Get into what did they have open? What were the
Sure.
2 things to go through?
So they had the House of Eyes and the Haunted Mill open, both indoor attractions. The Haunted Mill was mostly an indoor haunted attraction, and at the very end, there was an outdoor section that led you outside. But it was really well done, and the Haunted Mill was incredibly long. It was easily one of the longest haunts I've ever gone through. Every time you thought it was over, there was another twist and turn, and even more dark places to go to. It was really cool. And you go upstairs a bunch of times, and there's actually a balcony on the outside of the mill that you walk out onto, and you can look down. It's kind of like the Nocturnal Wasteland effect, and you
All
can look
right.
down from the balcony, and they have some props up there where it looks like it's a zombie metal band up there, and then you go back inside. So it was interesting, to
It
say the
sounds
least.
cool.
I told her in the interview I did with her, I said I was legitimately scared and creeped out when I was in the basement of the mill because it's so grungy and dark, and it's the part of the real building. It's an old building, and you're just in a really creepy dank basement, and you don't know what's going to happen, and there's a bunch of grungy props in there and you don't know what's going to happen. It was intense right there. That was something else. That's not just sets in a haunt. That was really creepy.
Right. That's one of my biggest things of like creep out factors of going downstairs. Like anytime you have to go downstairs into a basement, into a tunnel, anything that leads you downstairs, you never know what you're going to expect. And it always has that creepy element to it.
It was easily one of the best catacombs basement section I've ever seen. It was really cool.
Nice. I definitely want to check out Kim's. It sounds really, really good. And Kim herself seems really passionate about what she's
Yes.
out there.
She's a great spokesperson. Yes. So she has a lot of fun. And I'm going to go now to the House of Eyes. That was actually the first attraction I went to. And actually, when you walk in, you have to bend down and they press a button. The person that tells you the rules presses a button and a siren goes off. And that's how it starts out. You crouch down and go into the dark and hear a siren. And that's how it starts. And then it just gets crazier and crazier from there. And at the beginning, I was kind of jumpy at the beginning because it was the first haunt. And I got a couple really good startle scares in the very beginning. And I like that. And there were scares there that I hadn't seen before where people had come out of like cabinets. I hadn't really seen that before. There was a person that came out of a cabinet right at me and from one side and then another side. And there was an actor actually just hanging up on top of a set and that distracted me. And an actor jumped out of a closet at me. So it was cool. They had some good misdirection there.
Good. Sounds like a lot of actors they had there too. Was it a decent amount of actors going on?
Well, the mill was more just the mill itself is just creepy and grungy. So there was a decent amount of actors in it, but there were some long spans without actors. But it was just so creepy and there was so much to look at. It didn't need actors in certain areas. They were like, this is just so cool on its own. And
Right.
Kim does this really well. And it's something I really loved about Kim's Crypt is that there are legitimate dark mazes in it. You go in the dark, you have to feel your way out, and it's twisty and turny, and it's legitimately dark, and you have to find your way out at multiple points. And both attractions, the House of Eyes and the Haunted Mill. So that was really cool. I like that.
That's cool. The House of Eyes is always the one that like sparked my interest when looking on Kim's website. It's like, what is this House of Eyes? Like, what is going on? Because you never hear anything like that at any haunt. There's no attraction called House of Eyes anywhere else. So that always kind of like caught my interest.
The House of Eyes is pretty much a classic old school haunt with a couple modern scares in there with some like interactive bridges that'll shake when you walk on them and all kinds of misdirection. And one part that really stood out to me was, you know how there are like a lower clearance for some rooms when you go into haunted houses? This had the lowest clearance of a room I've been in. You had to bend down and it's really shady. You go up and there's like an arrow on the wall, like go this way. And then you have to go and it's just dark. And then the ceiling's real low. You have to bend down like this. And I kept on walking in the dark thinking it'd stop at some point. And I moved up and I could still feel the ceiling. And I kept on going. It was interesting for sure.
It sounds like a pretty intense attraction there.
So I like both attractions. They both were very different because the House of Eyes was more of a retro feel classic haunt, and then the Haunted Mill was lots and lots of themes encapsulated in there. They had some funhouse elements, they had the darker mansion elements, and when you get to the outdoor area, you get to see Jason, and there's actually a really cool tunnel area, and definitely shout out to the actor in there with the knives. He was insane, totally in character, jumping off the walls. It was really cool. So definitely shout out to him. The chainsaw actors were good there. I like them. And it wasn't just a chainsaw actor for the end. There was more than just a chainsaw actor for the end of both attractions. But I'm not going to tell you what.
Nice. Did they have any like games on the side?
Yes,
like
they had
rooms and games.
Yes,
and
they had a escape room. It was a zombie escape room. $5 for a zombie escape room. I would do it next time. If I went, I would do it for sure. And if I went with you, I would definitely do it. That'd be fun. And they had a head toss. but it was different than the toxic head toss at Field of Screams because you were throwing it into baskets instead of big barrels, and you had to throw it underhand from behind a line they had with a rope. So it was really hard. But even though I missed all of them, they still let me get a cup, a Kim's Krypt commemorative cup. So that was nice. It wasn't a shot glass, it was a plastic cup, but so I'll use it. And the actor who was running it, I think was named Bubba Joe. He actually has a Facebook page, and I think he joked with me in character like, "You better wash that out. It's got some dust in it." So I thought that was funny. But so so that was funny. And then next to that, they were selling some latex masks you could get. So that was interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
And they had a little snack shack. The guy there was very down to earth, very nice. I talked to him. His son actually works at Kim's Krypt, one of the haunts. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a ton of merch. There's tons of
yeah,
merch
yeah.
website, so I'm sure they have.
Oh yeah,
tons of-
there's tons of merch. It's very deceiving. It's a little shop, but when you go in there, it's just there's tons of stuff. I'll post pictures on Instagram about it. There's just the whole wall, the whole back of the wall is a whole bunch of different shirts, and they got tons of them, tons and tons of them. And they had halfway to Halloween merch, just for exclusive for the vendor
Wow.
rack. So, and they had some leftover merch from like Kim's Kryptmas when they did their Christmas event years ago. So they had a whole bunch of stuff. So
That's awesome. I like a good little gift shop and merch stand.
and they had a case where she had a whole bunch of custom autographs signed from different horror people in horror movies. Like she had multiple autographs from Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it was cool. So I like that. And the OG Kim's Krypt severed head is in there too on display. The original one she had. So
That's pretty cool. It sounds really cool. It sounds like a fun place to go to.
It is a fun place, and the Midway actors are great. Definitely talk to Cookie and Trixie, and they have their own shirts as well. And you'll see them in my video about Kim's Krypt. You'll see them. I actually saw her right when she came out of makeup, and she was all excited to see me. So that was fun. So definitely talk to them when you see them, and definitely see Maggot, and you might see Jason walking around. So it's a whole bunch of cool characters.
So it sounds like they already have a good Midway, and then they're going to redo it and make a bigger Midway to it.
It's a small Midway, but there's plenty of things to do. But they are going to expand it, and they're done with the Kim's Crazy Maze, and then
awesome.
Their plan for next year is they are going to make a museum out of her massive collection of horror memorabilia that she currently has in the Terror Trail, which is their walking trail. She's going to take that, hopefully next year, take all of that, plus her massive collection, and make a museum out of it, and build a bigger gift shop next year. So
that's awesome. That sounds really cool.
So definitely going to check it out next year, and I definitely want to go in the fall season to see 4 attractions. So
right, because that is the closest one to you, right?
Yeah, it's like 40 minutes away, so it's nice.
Oh, that's not bad at all. Yeah. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like a whole haunt weekend for you, because after Kim's Friday night, we went to Field of Screams.
And we went to Field of Screams on Saturday, May 1st, the beginning of May. We start May out, beginning of summertime. We're going to a haunt because Halloween is 365 days a year, and you can't tell me any differently.
And now we're halfway to it.
So
why not go to a haunt and have these haunts open up for it?
Oh, and this is something I definitely want to show. I want to show my ticket for Kim's.
Kim's, that is an awesome looking ticket. I'm a big fan of
Kim right there. Crazy lady with her tongue out.
Kim looks like she's in like some like black metal band with the white makeup and the black eyes, and looks like a singer in a metal band. That's awesome.
There you go. It's going to be backwards for you, but this is the House of Eyes, and then this says Haunted Mill, and they punched it with a puncher here. And this actually would say Terror Trail, but they just scratched it out with Sharpie because they didn't want to buy new tickets because the Terror Trail wasn't open for the event, but it was a good time.
Speaking of reusing
tickets, here you go. This was the Halfway to Halloween tickets. This is 2018 right there, and this is an OG 2014 Nocturnal Wasteland ticket right there.
It was like second year, I think, that Nocturnal Wasteland was
Yeah, it was
open.
2013 was the first year. Yeah.
They definitely had some tickets left over, but
We
no,
even
it was
got to
just fun.
talk to one of the owners, Jim, about it, and we laughed about it. So,
Yeah, it's hey, whatever gets you in. Doesn't matter what year it says, you know.
exactly. All right, so let's talk about Field of Screams. They had multiple new changes to both the Frightmare Asylum and the Den of Darkness, and we did the Den of Darkness first, and we were actually there with one of Glenn's friends, Brandon. So, shout
Mhm.
out to Brandon.
Yep, thanks for joining us. That was it was a cool time. It was fun.
Yeah,
All three of us hanging out.
yeah, it was a good time. So we
But
started
the
out.
first thing we did, hold on,
Oh
the first
yes,
thing we did, waiting for Brandon to get there, was an escape room. They had
yes,
a
we did the
5-minute
escape
escape
room.
rooms. You know, it was what, $5 to get in for a
Yes,
5-minute
$5,
escape
$5
room.
for the escape room.
We did the easy one, and we got about halfway through it.
Yes,
So
we did the one called Captured, and this was actually my first escape room, so I didn't know exactly what to expect, but it was a ton of fun. And after we scrambled for clues, we finally figured out how to open Glenn's door, and he got out of his cage, and then we ran out of time and we didn't open the next door to get out, but it was still a good time.
it was fun. It was a really good escape room. I think that was the third one I've done, and I'm 0 for 3. So clearly escape rooms are not my thing, but it's always fun just to try it out and see the unique way of doing it. It was very clever what you had to do.
And they had interesting newspaper clippings on the wall, like they had Dahmer on the walls, so that was interesting.
Yeah,
So
it was really cool. It was really well done. I think if we had another minute, we might
yeah.
have gotten out of it.
Yeah, yeah. I was joking with Brandon. I said if it was a 6-minute escape,
Minutes,
we would have
I think
escaped.
we would have gotten out. Yeah,
But things happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So, and then we met Brandon to Aiden of Haunted Hills Estate Screen Park too. That was nice.
yeah, he was out there.
It
That
was
was
nice to
awesome.
meet him. So,
Yep, yeah, that was really cool. It was just an all around fun night. It was just
oh yeah,
cool to get out to a haunt, see other people in the haunt industry and stuff like that. So yeah, well, the first one was
Den
first
of Darkness.
attraction on 3 was Den of Darkness, which, like you said, they added some new stuff. So you can talk about that.
Yes, and they didn't actually tell you everything new in the teaser trailer. There actually were more new things than I believe that both of us were accustomed to because they changed the first room a little bit, and there was actually a door fake out in there in the parlor room. That was actually funny. So
Yeah, you got faked out pretty
they'll
good
most
on that.
likely mess with you there. And
Yeah,
then you actually get to go down the stairs, and where that first scene used to be the shackles with cells, and it was very loud, intense scene, and now it's more of a grungy, more gory scene with bodies in there.
yeah, it's like a butcher type scene now.
Yeah.
Um, I really like that. I think that was the second scene. Once you go down, um, the actors wearing the different animal masks. I think
Yeah,
that was
it was a
scene.
couple scenes after, I think. I think you did the spider cave after the first scene, and then there was the bug room and the shelf falls on
Uh,
you, and then that went to the new scene.
okay,
That
because
was
there was a really cool one of the actors in there having like this raccoon looking badger mask on, and it was just
yeah.
awesome looking.
Yeah, and
So
there was a pig butcher in there, and he was sawing
uh-huh.
a body. That was the new scene that they called the torture scene in the teaser trailer on Instagram. That was that scene. It was very dark and grungy, and they were right. There was artwork made of bodies on the walls, so that was cool.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I think the den was pretty much straightforward. I don't think they've changed too
Well,
much
well,
to.
there was another scene. They took the checkered scene out, and remember, I'm going to call it this because it's too funny not to call it the toilet liquor scene.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes.
You can figure out what
That
that is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That actress in there, who was like, "Oh, I need to clean the toilet bowl," and "Oh, let me use my tongue," and it's just like she got her head down, and I'm like, "What is going on here?" Those actors at Field of Streams are one of a kind, just top notch actors. I mean, this lady's like putting her head in like a toilet. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy. And there was a
you know,
gory body in there over a bathtub too. So
yeah,
yeah, so
that was a good scene. I did forget that scene. That was an
can't
awesome
forget the
scene.
toilet liquor
I
scene.
know the toilet.
So and when you went into the new scene, the torture scene, it smelled weird.
It did
Definitely
have a
smelled good
bad,
when we
bad
went
smell.
there.
Even with your mask on, it was like really bad. So,
Yeah. So, and of course, the chainsaw guys for both the Den and the Asylum and Nocturnal Wasteland all were great as normal, really intense. All the actors make sure they actually put the chainsaw on you.
oh yeah,
Like some of the
oh yeah,
best chainsaw guys in the industry.
yeah. Those chainsaw actors there. I mean, you have to be a young person to do that. Yeah, I mean, these
Yes.
guys are like chasing people out to like the ticket booth.
Yes, they
It's
actually
just,
do that. Look
it's
it up
just
on YouTube. Field
unbelievable.
of Screams compilations, you'll see it.
It's just crazy, like, and holding that chainsaw and just chasing people and then going back, running back to get in spot to do it again. Unbelievable, man. Huge props to those chainsaw actors in all three areas.
Yeah,
You know.
all three areas, yeah. And the actors overall in all of them were great. And do you want to go on to the Frightmare Asylum now?
Yeah, that's what we did next.
Yeah.
So
Frightmare
yeah.
Asylum next. And the ticket taker actually had a fun shirt on. She said, "This is my," I think it said something like, "This is my happy face," and it was a leather face. So that was funny. So, so, and then we went in, and right off the bat for the first room, those actors were intense. There was a guy
Oh, they
yelling
were.
at
They
us,
were.
coming real
Yeah.
close to us, going crazy, but no actors touched you. No actors were touching you. They just got close
Yeah.
sometimes.
The chainsaw guys will put the chainsaw on you, but they won't actually hit you, or there was no other actors like touching you or really making you feel uncomfortable there, even though everyone was wearing masks, which was
Yes.
still nice to see, you know. Um,
So.
but
And there were multiple new improvements in the Frightmare Asylum. There was the new checkered scene, and they updated the nurses area. It was more open now.
that checkered room must have been so new and just recently done, because you could still smell the paint in that room. And so it must have just been done. And I have a feeling they're going to have some issues when it gets
Yeah,
to the full season, when it gets
yeah,
like
full
full
season.
on
Like
season.
Saturdays in October, kind of busy.
Yes, because
Yeah.
there is a part where you're in the check and you have to find the door. It's not obvious where the door is, and you kind of have to push on the walls. And I have a feeling they're going to get backed up because
Yeah,
people aren't
I
where they go.
definitely think having an actor in there, a checkered
Yeah,
actor, to be part of the theme, like jumps out the wall and scares them and then points them in the right direction, that would definitely help.
right. Because it will get backed up. One thing I was shocked to see, in the clown room, they had the claustrophobia bags running again. They took those down last season.
Yeah, the whole year last year, yeah.
And then they had them running again, which is really interesting to see.
No, it's interesting. I hadn't experienced claustrophobia bags for over a year. That was the
Yeah.
first time for a long time. So
Well, I think every home just took them out due to
yeah,
COVID. I mean, like how you're just pushing yourself through those things, and I guess they figured if everyone's got masks on and everything, and
yeah,
go for it.
yeah. Well, in case you are scared of claustrophobia really badly, you can tell the actor in that area, like, I am legitimately scared of this. Please don't make me go through it. And there is an alternative way to go around it. So just in case people want to
That
know.
goes the same for if you don't want to crawl in the den. I think you can just tell the actor like I can't get down and crawl, and there is like I didn't have to crawl. I know you and Brandon. It's not that I
Yeah.
chose not, but the guy just picked me out and said,
Yeah,
"Hey,
the
you."
actor in there was great. The actor there was like, I'm going to tell you what to do and you're going to do it. You go down there. He said that to me and Brandon. And then he said to Glenn, oh, you just have to go over here. And Glenn just got to walk past
So
it.
yeah, if you legit can't get down and crawl and
Yeah,
physically do it or
you don't
anything,
have to. You don't have to.
just tell the actor, and the actor will just send you through like a little passageway.
Yeah, so.
So.
But it was cool. And that morgue, that was pretty dark and grungy in there. And there were some trays of feet coming out at you.
Oh yeah, that
So
the morgue autopsy type room. Yeah, that's usually pretty intense.
yeah, and there was actually an actor above too. I think an actor
Mm-hmm.
above was attacking us too. So
They expanded the mannequin room too as well. Before you hit the checkered room, I thought that was a little more intense, especially since I'm not a fan of mannequins.
yes, Glenn does not like that.
I don't. they just made it more windy to go through, and these very Silent Hill looking nurse mannequins.
Yeah,
It's a
13
creepy
Ford
movie.
Effects makes those.
Okay.
The Dorothea nurses. And then after we went through the Frightmare Asylum and the den, then we thought about what we wanted to do because it was still kind of light out and we wanted to know if we should go through Nocturnal Wasteland or not. So then we both did the toxic head toss, and you can see that video up on Glenn's Instagram of how he did. And I got,
Terrible.
yeah, he did okay. he didn't
Terrible.
get any in, but it was still a good time. And what was
Oh yeah,
nice
it's still
was
fun.
the guy who was running the game told us about this on the ticket here. I'll show it to you. There was actually pay for one game, get one free. And he knew about that. So we got a free game of it for only $2, $2 or $3 for the Toxic Head Toss. We got a free play.
Yeah, it was $2. $2 to get 3 heads, but with the buy one, it was so you got 6 heads for $2, and I still couldn't get a single one in. So
Yeah.
But John, you got 2 out of 6. So.
I got 2 out of 6. So I got 1 out of each 3.
Right.
So, and he told me you have to, the first prize you get is from 2 from each section.
Yeah.
So
it was still fun now.
If you get all of them, you get a Field of Screams branded basketball.
So. I wanted to do, I thought I felt like I was like pushing you guys to do the trail when it was still light out, but I wanted to do the trail when it was light out to kind of have it more of like a behind the scenes tour, so you can really see the props, all the stuff that's put into it, and I really thought it was like a really cool behind the scenes, especially when you got to the hayride part.
Yes,
I thought that was really cool.
Look down at the junkyard scene, you could definitely see a lot of it. It was very different to see it during the slightly light out time. It was way different than at nighttime when it's just completely dark.
You could really see how like intricate that scene is. There's so much behind the scenes of that, that area.
Yeah,
and like I said, I didn't know.
You can see the massive crane claws in there and everything.
It's just everything, and just all the barrels, because at that point there's fire there, so you get to see all the barrels and everything. It was really neat to see. You don't get the same effect going when it's light out,
because the hayride would be going and all the soundtrack and the actors and sound effects and the fire and the crane claws moving, but it's still really cool. It was like a behind the scenes tour. So that was interesting.
Right. And you didn't get like the full effect of like it being nighttime. So obviously that swamp scene in the trail, really there was no swamp scene, but
they had the lasers on.
What's that?
They had the lasers on.
They did have the lasers. They were trying, and they had the fog. So I guess when it got dark, it looked really cool, like the regular swamp. But in the light, you just couldn't see it. But I thought it really was a cool thing to go during the daylight just to get, because how often are you going to see that? Every time you go, it's going to be dark. So, to have a chance to do it in daylight and kind of see it, that was a whole different experience, I thought.
Different. And there's plenty of actors too. Lots of actors in Nocturnal Wasteland.
And I said in my past reviews about it, the trail, they really mess with your heights. If you got a issue with heights, it's going to be tough to get through. But I love it. I love going up in that school bus and over that bridge and everything. It's one of the best.
A dedicated actor in the bus, like laying on top of like a ship.
Yeah.
Man.
that trail is
Field of Screams are great. All the attractions, like the patients and the doctors and the asylum are crazy, and the denizens of the darkness are crazy, and the Nocturnal Wasteland people are crazy. So
yeah, those actors are really intense at Field of Screams.
Oh yeah.
But it was cool to go. It was a little weird being there, like off season. It was kind of like this, like, it's always my thing to go to Field of Screams to kick off the season. So to do it in like May, it just seemed like,
yeah, it was very different.
Yeah,
but it was still a lot of fun.
It was still a lot of fun. It was really cool. It kind of like got me excited for the upcoming season. I'm sure it'll be the kickoff. Most
likely you're going to do even more changes until the fall season. They got 5 months, so
right.
They got a bunch of time to still do more stuff.
So. Yeah, totally. And obviously there's going to be more out. There was only two places to eat to get food. It was like an Annie Ann's truck and just like a regular generic like hot dog burger type food truck. Obviously when during the season there's like, geez, there must be about 10 of them, you know.
Yeah, during the normal season there's tons of them. There's a whole roll of them, and then Annie Ann's is over by the hayride normally. So
yeah, but it was still cool. It was still cool to see that they had all the games going. They had the merch booth open. They had the escape room. So it was really cool that they did have a lot of stuff to do. They had bands playing, band was setting up there.
And plenty of Midway actors too. They had Breezy and Crunk, and the Denizen was walking around, and the Ice Cream Man.
Yeah, I don't know the Ice Cream Man's official name.
I don't know his official name. He follows me on Instagram, and he liked the picture of him that I shared on my Instagram.
Okay.
I don't know his official character name. I'm gonna call him the Demented Ice Cream Man, but he was cool.
It was a little ice cream cone on his head.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, they definitely have. It's one of the best midways Field of Screams got going there with the music playing and a lot of stuff to do. I always say, it is like it's like the hangout now. You don't need a ticket to get into that midway.
No, you
area.
don't.
So you just go and hang out and get some food, play games, listen to music. It's now like
that's great for parents that go to these haunted attractions. If you don't want to go through attractions, you do not have to pay for a ticket. You can just hang out in the midway area, and you can just
there's signs
or listen to music.
When you're going through the parking lot, the park, there was arrows that say like drop off. So obviously it's a big thing. It's parents dropping kids off there and have them hang out.
And I'm definitely happy we got there early. Glenn and I made sure we got there early, and we went through all the attractions. And I'm very happy we got there early because right around 8 p.m. after we went through all the attractions in Nocturnal Wasteland, it got crazy busy.
It did. Those lines for the asylum and Den were getting long, and we didn't have to wait at all.
No. When we went in, it was just like walk-in.
Yeah.
So for all of them, so definitely.
It looked like a really good turnout, which is awesome to see that people are going out supporting haunts during the off season. See people go out and support haunts during the off season.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. That's great. I've heard there's good turnout for every haunt that's been doing halfway to Halloween.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. So
yeah, I can imagine more opening up in the further seasons, doing more off season stuff because it is a big draw. It is a big, people want to do this stuff throughout the year, not just, September, October,
Yeah. So I am definitely very excited for the fall season because the teasers for the fall season I experienced for these halfway Halloween events for Field of Screams and Kim's Krypt. I had a great time at both. So to be able to see more attractions and the hayride and the other attractions at Kim's Krypt, it's just so much to see. So
yeah, this was kind of like a cool little like, all right, it was just enough to get me excited to, it's like, all right, well, we got about 3 months left, I guess, for
yeah, September. We have to go to September, so we're in May now, just the very beginning of May. So
June, July, August, yeah, about 3-4 months. So
yeah, we got a couple months, and then it's Halloween. Haunt season, because haunt season starts in September now. It starts.
Oh, totally.
So
I mean, that was always my Field of Screams is always my kickoff because they're the first ones open. It's like, God, it's like I remember one year I think they opened like September 8th or something. It's
yeah, like, that was crazy early.
Early.
Yeah.
So they're always my like kickoff to the season, like to really get me into the haunt season. Did you wake up is it just me? Do you get like later that night you just get like that like haunt crud in you? It's like you feel like that fog in like your lungs and you're like coughing it up and you're just like you don't get that?
No, I'm sorry. I'm too young for that. I was fine.
I get it. I'm like coughing up. It's like the fog gets into my lungs. I call it like haunt crud because it's just like, oh, it's like in my like chest and my I don't know how these actors breathe it in.
Oh, the actors are insane doing that stuff, breathing all the fog.
But it was just so funny because it's like, oh my God, like, I get it in September when I first start goat. I sort of have it in like May. It's like just crazy. It's like, I got honk crud.
Hashtag haunt crud.
Honk crud. Yeah, hashtag honk crud. I should start using honk crud. But
Oh man.
yeah.
So, and definitely tell us all about your experiences at Halfway to Halloween events in the comments below. So,
I did see a lot of people that I follow on Instagram going out to Field of Screams. So if you're watching and you went out to Field of Screams, well, yeah, let us know like what you thought of it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun.
oh yeah, it was pretty much the same as the haunt season, the same feel. It was like just in May. It's just odd.
It's crazy.
What?
Since I always go to Field of Screams like when it first opens,
Mhm.
and in September it could still be like, I mean, I remember a couple times going, it was 90 degrees.
Oh yeah, it was warm. That one year was real warm.
So last night going, it was actually cooler in May than it is a couple times I went in September.
Yeah, that was a little weird, but
Yeah, but yeah, no. Drop us comments if you went,
and if you want the Kim's too, if you want the Kim's Krypt
or any other one.
Kim's
If
Krypt
you want
Haunt,
to,
put it down. Yeah, any haunt across the whole United States. Anybody that's watching this, tell us what haunt you went to.
I think 13th Hour was open.
And that was episode 5 of Fallen Former. And until next time, happy hauntings.